and welcome to my channel. This is Makeup by Mackenzie, and I am Mackenzie, obviously. Today on Warpaint, we are celebrating another fierce female for Women's History Month, Sojourner Truth. Sojourner Truth is one of those figures of American history that you hear a lot about, but you don't really know a lot about her. At least I didn't. And it kind of bummed me out that I didn't know much about her because I'd heard her name so many times, but I actually was kind of like, why is she important? And it really made me mad that I didn't know why she was important. So I decided that I needed to find out more about her. So Sojourner Truth was a former slave who escaped from slavery and became an abolitionist and an activist. And one of her main focuses after the emancipation of slaves was to get African Americans the right to vote. In particular, African American women, because there were a lot of abolitionists and activists who were fighting for men to get the right to vote, in particular black men, but they were actually pretty exclusionary when it came to getting black women the right to vote. And that's a pretty big deal because everybody should have the right to vote. One of the big factors in her activism was her Christian faith, which was why she changed her name to Sojourner Truth. Her given name was actually Isabella, which I think is a very pretty name, but Sojourner Truth is a very iconic name. Today's look is inspired by Sojourner Truth, so without any further ado, let's play with some makeup, shall we? As I was reading more and more about Sojourner Truth, I was getting more and more struck about her story, and a lot of what impacted her in her journey of activism was her Christian faith. And that really resonated a lot with me because I'm a Christian too, and being a Christian is a really big part of my life, and being part of my church is a really big part of my life. She really believed that religion was not supposed to divide us, that it shouldn't be something that allows us to oppress other people. And I fully believe that too. Religion should be something that unites us. It should be something that gives us peace, that gives us hope, and not a force for conflict. And unfortunately, throughout history, religion has become a source of conflict, and I really don't think it should be that way. She fought for rights for all African American people to have the right to vote, but she really called out people like people she worked with, like Frederick Douglass, who used their philosophy and their religion and things to say things like black men should have the right to vote, but black women shouldn't have the right to vote. She really, called them out on that, and I think that's really brave. Her name's Truth for a reason, like she spoke the truth. She gave this speech once that was called Ain't I a Woman? And it has some really great lines in there, so I strongly encourage you to read it if you get a chance. So here's this part of this that really struck me, and I really appreciate it. It's both sassy and true. He says, women can't have as much rights as men, 'cause Christ wasn't a woman. Where did your Christ come from? Where did your Christ come from? From God and a woman. Man had nothing to do with him. If the first woman God ever made was strong enough to turn the world upside down all alone, these women together ought to be able to turn it back and get it right side up again. And now, they is asking to do it. The men better let them. I just think that is so great. I mean, I think every woman can hear that and be like, yes! When I was doing all of my reading about Sojourner Truth, I couldn't help but think about the flower, the Lenten rose. It's an interesting flower and it comes in a lot of different varieties, but the most common starts off in its early stages in early spring, so right around this time. It starts off green usually and becomes a light purple, and then as it gets older it becomes a dark purple. But these can come in a very light variety, but then they can also be as dark as like burgundies and even blacks. They're kind of a cool flower, and they grow so that they bow. So the flower on the inside is really pretty, but they bow, which is really interesting. And I think that's part of the reason why they're called Lenten roses. They seem very reverent, and they're usually kind of a muted color. They aren't, but there can be some varieties that are pretty bright. And a lot of times on the inside of the flower, they're dappled. They've got some sort of speckling on the inside of a cool color. For some reason, Sojourner Truth kept reminding me of Lenten Rose. I want to read you this quote that I found that I just thought summed up both of them in terms of a Lenten rose. Beautiful, long-lasting flowers, tough evergreen foliage, strong deer resistance, and a survivor's zest for life. And I think, even though that sounds kind of weird, just the way that they describe this flower just sounds like Sojourner Truth. First of all, tough. She's definitely tough. Evergreen, you know, that means long-lasting, getting through the toughest times of the year, the winter. Great. And then a survivor's zest for life. She truly was a survivor. I mean, her masters, back when she was a slave, would beat her. And they beat her ever since she was a little kid. So she really, really was tough and went through a lot. She survived a lot. And I think she really just had this passion for life and wanted to make life better for herself and for people like her, other slaves and former slaves. So today's look, even though it's inspired by Sojourner Truth, it's also inspired by a Lenten Rose because I really felt like that flower embodies her. All right, so first things first, I'm kind of doing this look like a flower. It's kind of like a reverse cut crease almost, where I'm going to do kind of a fun shape, but it kind of, that reminds me of a flower petal. But instead of doing a lot of color in the crease and cutting it on the lid and doing something different on the lid, I'm actually just not gonna blend out the edges. I'm going to make it a very sharp shape, or as sharp as I can get with eyeshadow. And I'm going to use a very muted purple for this. So I'm going into the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. And I'm going to take this shade right here, Bon Fresco. It's a nice muted purpley shade, and that's going to be the color that I'm going to use for the majority of this look. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So I'm just taking a flat packing brush and I'm going right into Bon Fresco here. I guess I'll start mapping out the crease first. So I'm just gonna start trying to draw a kind of sharp line, just to kind of map out the shape that I want here. And then I'm just winging it out sort of here on the edge. And I'm going to bring that down to kind of match my lash line, my lower lash line, kind of to continue it. So that's the basic shape that I have there. And I'm gonna continue taking that flat packing brush and I'm just gonna start packing on pigment. You could also do this part with your finger, but once you get to the edges here, you really want it to be, to use a brush so that you can get a kind of sharp edge. But I like this shape because it really does kind of remind me of a flower petal. And if you want to help kind of try and get that line even sharper, you can wet your brush before dipping it into the eyeshadow, and that will help it have a little bit more of a creamy consistency as you're applying it. I'm just really taking my time with this. You don't need to be in a rush. Just really taking my time making those lines pretty sharp. And I'm really not, you know, beating myself up about if they're not even, because this is hard enough as it is. Like, just don't worry about it. As long as they're like, you know, close, you know, they're similar. I think that's what really matters. Because most people aren't going to be like, you know, looking at them and be like, they're not even. They're probably going to be like, whoa, that's cool. So that's what we have so far. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a purple liquid eyeliner, and you could use a gel for this if you want, but I'm taking a purple one, and I'm going to kind of replicate the dappling of the inside of a Lenten rose with, you could really go fun with these colors. And look up some pictures of Lenten roses, and you'll find all different sorts of colors of the different varieties of them. And they're really cool. So I'm going to be pretty careful with this because I don't want to go overboard and I don't want them to smudge too much. I'm using the Chella eyeliner pen in purple. And I actually don't really care for this eyeliner as a normal eyeliner because it runs, like you can see it bleed into the lines of your skin. But for this, I don't really mind it so much because that's kind of how the dappling on a Lenten rose is. It's not like perfect little dots. So I don't really mind if they run a bit. I'm trying to make it more concentrated towards the inner corner of my eye so that they can, because that's the way a Lenten rose looks. So now I'm just going to take my Rimmel Scandaleyes Waterproof Kohl eyeliner in the shade brown, and I'm going to line the upper and lower waterline. Now I'm going to take this shade Cypress Umber from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, which is just a dark matte brown. I'm going to use that to really quickly line my upper lash line, but I'm going to keep that as close to the lash line as I possibly can. Okay, so that's what we have so far, and I'm feeling like the lower lash line is a little bit bare. So I could go with some brown, or I could go with some purple up on the top. But I'm also kind of thinking green, going with the earthy, flowery tones we've got going on. So I'm gonna dip into my Morphe 35B palette. I think I'm gonna go with this green right here. And I'm just taking a small smudger brush, and that's gonna go along my lower lash line. That is coming across blue. All right, we're changing gears. I'm not doing that green anymore. I'm doing the lower green, the darker one, because this one is looking blue, like a oceany blue, like a seafoam greeny blue. I don't think it's right. It looks pretty, but it's not right for the vibe that I want. So I'm gonna go with the darker green. Not sure how I feel about the green on the lower lash line. Maybe I add some brown in there? Add some more brown? Oh no. 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 Now it looks like somebody punched me in the face. That never happened. Pretend that never happened. Let's see. What do we want to do instead? I managed to get rid of it. I'm going to take the Illamasqua coloring pencil in the shade Honor. And I'm going to line my lower lash line with this. Just really closely to the lash line. And now I'm going to take the brush that I used for the lid shade, and I'm going to use that to blend it out. Still not ideal, but it's better. Let me know what you would have done differently on the lower lash line for this look. We're going to finish this look up. I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows off of camera, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so my eyebrows are done, and we're going to move on. I'm going to brighten this up a teeny tiny bit by using a little bit of highlight. For my highlighter today, I'm going to be using the shade Vermeer from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. And I'm just taking a small flat packing brush, and that's gonna go right on the inner corner of the eye here. I'm gonna kind of bring it up a teeny tiny bit, and then I'm also going to bring it onto the inner third of my lower lash line. Just like that, and that just helps to brighten it up a little bit. And then I'm going to take a little bit more Vermeer and just go right under my brows. All right, and now I'm going to use Vermeer as a highlight for the rest of my face as well. So I'm just taking a fluffy brush, dipping that right in there, and highlighting on the high points of my cheekbones. Bam! Of my eyebrow a little bit, doing the Cupid's bow. And then I'm just gonna take my small brush again, and we're just gonna go a little bit on the bridge of the nose, and then a little tiny bit right on the tip of the nose. Boom! Highlighted. The eyes are done. The last thing for the face is blush. And today I'm just gonna use the Milani Baked Blush in the shade Dolce Pink. I have to decide what I want to do for the lips. And I have this Maybelline Electric Shine Prismatic Lip Gloss in the shade Moonlit Metal. And this is exactly the shade that Lenten roses are. It's purple and it has a green reflect. And Lenten roses are kind of in their earlier stages are this muted purple like this that has like green running through it. They're really cool. And so this is almost exactly the right color story for Lenten Rose. And so I really want to use this this lip gloss, but I don't know if I want to use it just by itself or if I want to use it on top of something else. Well, it's pretty opaque, so I feel like using it on top of something else. We'll use it by itself. This is the finished look for the Sojourner Truth look. I just felt like that flower really embodied her, and I think this look is actually pretty cool. It's definitely experimental, to say the least, but it's really cute. I was really surprised at how struck I was about Sojourner Truth. She's one of those people that gets mentioned in school, but you don't really learn much about her. And I actually found that, like, I was really touched by her, and she really inspired me. And so I feel very proud to be able to do a look inspired by her, and actually a look that she brought out this idea of one of my favorite flowers, the Lenten Rose, and it's just kind of cool how all that fits together. And yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this look. It was definitely an experiment, and I really am happy about the way it turned out. What do you guys think? What would you have done differently, and what look would you have done inspired by Sojourner Truth? And in fact, I would love to see your looks inspired by inspirational women and fierce females throughout history. So show me your war paint looks by using the hashtag #MacKenzie_obviously. I would love to see your looks, you guys. Let me know down in the comment section below what other tutorials or what other women would you like me to do a look inspired by, because I want to do what you want to see. So let me know. As always, I will have all of the products that I used in today's video listed in the description box below for you to find. I will also have a link to my GoFundMe campaign. 100% of those proceeds goes towards making this channel the best it possibly can be for you guys. So if you like my channel and want to help me make it better, please consider donating to that. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at MUBYMackenzie. And if you like this video, please give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like it in the future. Alright, that's all I have for today on War Paint. Thanks for joining me. Remember, makeup has no rules. They're more like guidelines. So, you do you, boo-boo. Alright, see you next time, everybody. Not that I would really wear this look out. I mean, maybe if I was going to like a costume party or something. Or to the club. Because I totally go to the club. Okay. Cool. Okay, cool. Okay. Cool. Okay. Cool. Let's see, I'm gonna dip into my Murphy. they'll see my cheekbones from space. The Milani Baked Blush in this blah blah blah. And so I really